Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Our Issues Birmingham. This week's guest is Mark Pettway. Mark is running for Jefferson County Sheriff on the Democratic side of things. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
How have you been, and what gets you to the spot where you want to be sheriff?
I've been doing very good here, running a good race. I tell you, there are a lot of things that have been going on in the news. And I had a cousin who's been very active up in St. Louis, and I watched her. And from watching her, it gave me a desire and an urge to do something to bridge a gap between law enforcement and the community. And from there, I've actually offered myself up to get into the race to be sheriff here in Jefferson County. And since that happened, I tell you, my wife and I, we have been on the road daily, working hard daily. My children have gotten involved in the campaign. We've been doing this as a family. Have a lot of volunteers, a lot of friends, church members who have joined in to help volunteer to help me in this race. And I tell you, I'm excited about it. Something I've never done before. I never considered myself a politician, and I still don't consider myself a politician. Consider myself a servant, somebody who wants to offer themselves up to serve the people here in Jefferson County. And I'm good at serving. And I do have a great plan that I want to offer to the people here in Jefferson County.
Have you been in law enforcement prior to running for sheriff? Do you have a background in law enforcement?
Yes, sir, I do.
Tell me about it.
I've been in law enforcement for 26 years now. I started out first at the city of Birmingham, working in the jail there for 2 years. I left the city of Birmingham and went to the city of Fairfield, in which I was a patrol officer. Worked there for 6 years.
You work under Leon?
I sure did. Well, Leon was not the chief when I was there.
He's not? Leon Davis we're talking about.
Leon and I did work together. Now, while being there at Fairfield, I was part of the first bicycle patrol, which brought about a community effort, the police working with the community. We were close to the community. We touched the community, had a great time doing it.
In Fairfield?
Yes, sir, in Fairfield. Left Fairfield after 6 years, and I went to Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, in which I'm employed right now today. I'm still there. I've been promoted up to a sergeant. I'm a detective, working the Forestdale Division. Also, I am an instructor at the academy. I teach and train new cadets and those that are already in law enforcement. So I enjoy my job. I have a passion for my job. Each and every day I get up, want to go out there, make sure that I do the best job for those that I'm investigating for.
One of the complaints about Jefferson County in general and law enforcement is the redundancy that exists simply by the fact that we're comprised of so many different municipalities. And I know that Mike Hale has put in place some efforts at trying to unify law enforcement. Are you familiar with those sorts of consolidated efforts in trying to work on law enforcement issues that we have in our county?
Yes, we have what they call the MAC Center. In the MAC Center.
Are you a fan of the MAC Center?
The MAC Center is an excellent tool, brings law enforcement together, helps share information quickly. And I think it's a very good tool for the use now and going into the future, brings us together. We're working together, and the MAC Center is an excellent tool.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other ideas that you'd like to bring to the table to try to make government more efficient when it comes to law enforcement in our county?
I do. I have an ideal of bringing about a metro jail. And in this metro jail...
Now there's a good idea.
Yes, it is. And they're ready for it right now. I've talked to most of the chiefs out there. They are ready and they're on board for a metro jail. The mayors, they are ready for a metro jail. Many of the jails that are here in the cities in Jefferson County are dilapidated, they're old, and they're ready to say, hey, if you're ready to take this from us, we're ready to give it to you.
The county?
Yes, they're ready to give it to the county.
Well, as a former municipal judge, I always felt that the jail business was not the business you wanted to be in because it's got so much potential for liability. So your suggestion would be what? To build a super jail that would house inmates from the variety of jurisdictions around, and everybody would pay a percentage of that? How would that work?
Absolutely. That is the way it would work. That is the model of how it would work. I've talked with most of the chiefs and the mayors, and they are in favor of it. We have one jail to house everyone here in Jefferson County, and we have a court system that's right next to it. Now, that is one of the main functions of the sheriff, is to maintain the jail for the courts.
In the county,
in
Jefferson County.
That is correct.
And we have two jails. We have Bessemer Division, which is sort of halfway up and running, I think. Or is it fully up and running?
It is.
It is
fully
up and running. And then we have the local jail. But you're talking about a separate physical location.
That is correct. We will have to build a new structure to house the inmates that we were talking about housing for the whole county.
Well, what about people like Vestavia, for example, who's got this brand new facility that really, I don't think it is overflowing with inmates. Hoover's another example. I know Hoover has got contracts with the United States government where it's paid X amount of dollars a day to house federal pretrial detainees, which has become somewhat economically beneficial for the city of Hoover. What about those cities? Are they going to want to get on board with your plan, you think?
Well, I would love for them to get on board with our plan. One thing you talked about earlier, was the liability. Nobody wants that liability. Someone dies in your jail, there's going to be a lawsuit. Nobody wants that lawsuit.
Mm-mm.
It happens just about in every jail around here. And if they can get away from the liability of lawsuits, I think that they would love to push that off on someone else.
God forbid somebody have a appendicitis or something. That's a liability as well. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. This is Our Issues Birmingham. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. I'm Tommy Speen. I'm talking with Mark Pettway, who's candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff. So it's my understanding you have a slogan, for lack of a better word, a Pettway proactive plan.
Yes, sir.
Is that what it's called?
That is what it's called. And I would like to talk to you about 4 points of my Pettway proactive plan.
Yeah, that's a tongue twister, but it's good.
It's a lot to say. But my plan deals with school safety. It deals with officers' equipment that brings about transparency. It deals with officer training that gives officers the opportunity to learn how to de-escalate situations. And lastly, but not least, it deals with criminal justice reform in the form that those that are incarcerated get an opportunity to get an education and skills. So when they go out, they will not be coming back in.
Do you know that there are a lot of people that would say that's never going to happen? I'm not one of them. But there's so many people that have such a negative attitude about being able to restore people to constructive existence in society after they've been exposed to the criminal justice system. You believe that's doable?
Absolutely. I've looked at different models in different states right here in the South. And just about every state around us have their program in their jails, except for Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
We have an opportunity right now for a game changer. Very successful in these other states. That program is very successful. 96% success rate, which means that when that person gets rehabbed in that jail, they're not coming back. They have opportunities, and some of them, when they leave, they have jobs already waiting for them, which means they're not going back into that same situation. They're going into a situation in which they have a job in a different location, and they're not coming back. They're being productive citizens in society.
Yeah. We have to start that movement at an early age. In a perfect world, we'd catch them before they got into the criminal justice system. Are you working with Mayor Woodfin at all? Have you had any dialogue with him?
We have spoken, and we're not working on anything in particular, but we have spoken.
Okay. So in terms of getting those individuals that are incarcerated into some rehab programs, are you familiar with the concept of restorative justice? You ever heard of that?
Yes, I have. I was just speaking to someone just the other day about restorative justice, and she was telling me she has a program, and she wants to bring the program to Jefferson County if she has a chance to do it, to where the individual has an opportunity to, the individual that's incarcerated has an opportunity to meet their victim.
Yeah.
And then apologize to their victim.
Yeah.
So I said, wow, that's
unheard of.
Yes, it is. I said, that sounds like a...
I've been preaching it for years. It's looked upon with disfavor in this country.
Really?
For whatever reason, in a lot of countries, the first thing that happens when there's a violation, let's say I commit something on you
Yes.
or against you. In most countries, the first thing that happens is the families want to come together
Yes.
with the victim and the offender
Right.
and try to make amends.
Right.
Here, that's called obstruction of justice for some reason.
Yes.
But the restorative justice concept has a lot of vitality, but it is so far advanced in terms of where we are now.
Yes.
I don't know if we could ever get that moving, but if you've got an individual it takes everybody wanting to play. So it has to start at the DA's office as well. You have to have a DA who's willing to participate.
Yes, sir.
Do you work with the DA's office now at all?
I do. I know Mr. Anderton and I know Mr. Carr. I know both right now. And I do have a relationship with both. But also, I'm a person of deep faith. And I believe that when you have restorative justice, it can help the healing process. I've heard it from that point of view, and it does help the healing process of that family that has been broken. And I think there's a tool that can really be used in our criminal justice system to help bring about some healing with those families that may have been broken.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the budgetary requirements and restrictions currently in place for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department? I mean, you've got a limited amount of funds to work with, I think.
We have a large budget. The county commissions have allotted the sheriff a budget of about $63 million. And I do believe within that budget, we can find areas in which we can cut and bring about programs such as restorative justice into our environment, which can really help both the ones that are incarcerated and the families of those that are broken. Mm-hmm. So I believe that is an area in which we can seek and find money for to help bring in a program such as restorative justice. Yeah.
And in terms of your programs that you mentioned, which do you feel to be the biggest priority?
Well, I think they all are a priority. One of the main things I want to do is bridge a gap between law enforcement and the community because I care. I will be the sheriff that cares. I care about our schools. This is very important to me because I have two daughters who have just entered into the teaching system. One is teaching here in the city of Birmingham. The other one's teaching at Jefferson State Junior College. So I care about our schools. I have a personal reason. 1999, we had Columbine. 2008, we had a situation here at Jefferson County at Minor High School in which I was involved in going in, seeking out a person in the school that brought a gun there. I did get accommodation for that. This year, we had Parkland, February the 14th in Florida. Also this year, we had a situation here at Huffman High School in which a student lost their life. But one thing I really like is that the students at Parkland, they were very proactive. This year when school started, they put changes in place to where when they started school, their school was much safer. We need to do that right here in Jefferson County. August of 26th, there was a Birmingham newspaper that went out ranking the school's safety. The top 100. None of the schools in the Jefferson County Board of Education, under the Jefferson County Board of Education, made it in that top 100. We need to change that. We need to do better. We need to make sure that our schools are safe, and I do not want teachers bringing guns into the classroom.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea either. Don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Our Issues Birmingham. I'm Tommy Spina. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. I'm Tommy Spina. We're talking with Mark Pettway, candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff. So you're running against Mike Hale, right?
Yes, sir.
You and Mike have a good relationship. Have y'all had a good relationship through the years?
We've enjoyed a good relationship.
Yep. But you think there's time for a change. We need a change, and the time is now.
Well, there's a difference between some of the ideas I would like to bring forth and my opponent. For example, I've talked to you about bridging the gap between the community, law enforcement, and the community. We do not have body cameras or dashboard cameras right now.
I know.
We need more transparency in law enforcement. If you're going to give someone the ability to use lethal or deadly force, I think we need to show some accountability, and that's through the use of video cameras.
Well, why do we not have it now? Because of finances?
We had dashboard cameras. They were taken away for some reason I do not know. But we had them in the vehicles.
Let me ask that question of the existing sheriff when he's on here.
Yes, sir.
So we had dashboard cameras.
Yes, sir.
And they're not there anymore.
They're not
a picture's
there anymore.
worth 1,000 words.
Absolutely. We had a situation in which one of our deputies was involved in a lawsuit. And because he did keep a copy of his dashboard camera video, he was able to be removed from that lawsuit because he was not involved in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very helpful, and they work to help those that are deputies, and it helps those that are citizens. So they tell the truth of what happened in that incident.
Mm-hmm. When do you recall the last time they were used?
Probably 2013.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So they've been out of commission that long?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel, since you have a connection to Fairfield, and Fairfield, it's no secret, is struggling financially as a city, it's got its own set of problems, but there has been some talk about maybe the county coming in and throwing them a lifeline. Would that be something you'd consider if Fairfield reached out to you and asked for some help?
Absolutely. Last night, there was a murder in Fairfield. A shooting in Fairfield was brought about a murder. Fairfield lacks the resources to go out and serve the people in the way they need to be served. Also, at the same hand, they do not have the finances to employ a deputy to patrol the city. We have to partner in a way to which we can get resources pooled together through the Sheriff's Department, the County Commission, and the City of Fairfield to be able to meet the budget to where we can help Fairfield. And some of the other cities over in that area, such as Lipscomb, Brighton. Mm-hmm. We need to also be able to help those cities also. And I believe that we can come together and bring those cities together, the County Commission together, and the Sheriff's Department, and we can meet the needs of those cities.
We've got to get into our youth. We've got to catch them almost in elementary school, I would think, and start at least planting the seed for some sort of Job Corps, job training of some sort, where they begin to realize, individuals begin to realize that they don't have to go to college to make a decent living. There are jobs available out there, especially in the home building industry. For goodness sakes, we could use that there. But we've got to do that at the entry level. Do you have programs in mind that you might think that exist now that are not being utilized, or that you might have something in mind that might foster that in the future?
While I have been on the campaign trail, I've met a lot of people who have programs such as mentoring programs. Excellent programs. They are out there, they're helping the youth. And I would love to incorporate some of those programs within the Sheriff's Department. Reaching the youth at an early age is key. Now, one other thing you mentioned was having some type of vocation program. And we do need vocation programs because everybody's not going to college. We need to make sure that we have something for those kids that are not going to college, and we need to reach out to them and help them with some type of vocation.
Mm-hmm. Do we have things in place where that can occur? I mean, do we have people in place now where we could set in motion those sorts of plans currently? It just needs to be worked a little bit.
Now, back when I was in school, we had them there. We had auto mechanics, we had carpentry, we had upholstery. From what I hear now,
Doesn't exist?
it does not exist, but Gardendale has a program in their school system that I hear is state of the art. We need to have that in other school systems also. Not only that, we have also a college here on the western side, Lawson State. They're providing vocation programs also for those that are not seeking to go and get an education degree. They can come and get vocation training.
Learn a trade.
Yes, sir.
Well, the problems are myriad, and you got your work cut out for you if you get this position. So I wish you best of luck. Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate you taking the time to be on our show.
Thank you.
This is Our Issues Birmingham. We'll see you next week.